My turn. Congratulations to all of you on your confirmations. Good news. I've only got time to ask Governor Bowman a question. One thing I wanted to clear up, I believe the senator from Massachusetts attacked you for not immediately initiating Fed stress tests following the announcement of President Trump's tariff strategy. I just want a clarification here. Did your predecessor, Vice Chair Barr, launch a Fed stress test when SVB failed?
No, sir, he did not.
Did he launch a stress test when inflation reached 40-year highs?
No.
Yeah. Even if the Fed regularly did this, wouldn't it be that vice chair that Senator Warren should have directed the questions towards? The person who was in the role at the time?
That might be more appropriate, yes.
Okay, thank you. You got community banks, regional banks, large foreign banks, and GSIBs, and 2,300 plus bank examiners crawling around their organizations every day. Want to talk a little bit about trends. Are you aware of instances when Fed supervision failed to focus on glaring core prudential risk?
Yes.
Give me an example.
Silicon Valley Bank.
Are you aware of instances when Fed supervision was encouraged to focus on ancillary issues that distracted from assessing core prudential risk?
Yes.
Give me an example.
I think we've seen reports of that throughout our supervision and regulation reports that we publish twice a year.
Are you aware of instances when Fed examiners changed supervisory expectations even within the course of an ongoing examination?
I have heard accountings of this, yes.
I'd like maybe for the record, if we can point out some glaring examples, that would be helpful for the committee. Do you believe the Fed has always adequately considered the distinct differences between the four separate supervisory strata, the banks that I was talking about, when crafting regulatory and supervisory requirements?
I think over the last year or a few years, we have strayed from the statutory responsibility of regulatory tailoring, and what I'd like to refocus our regulatory activities on is instilling more usage of regulatory tailoring that's appropriate to the size, the risk, the business model, and the institution that we're looking to apply regulation to.
Do you believe the Fed training of examiners has always armed staff to adequately carry out core prudential risk supervisory duties?
I look forward, if I'm confirmed, to having a better understanding of how prepared our examiners are to ensure that we can identify the risks within the system.
Is it fair to say that some of the problems that were encountered with the examination of Silicon Valley Bank may have related to improper training and execution?
I think that's a possibility, but I'd like to do an independent third-party review that would help us identify some of the issues that we should be identifying and.
That's a perfect answer. I'm looking back only to be instructed on how to better perform in the future, and that's exactly how we should do it. There's a lot of examiners out there that are doing a good job. They're following the rules. There are some others that either need training or re-education. So to the examiners out there, I know that many of them do a good job. I speak with a lot of banks. I did back when I was advising banks in the private sector. So, but we've got to up the game, and I think some of that comes through training and more consistent examination processes. I came in on the part of Senator Kennedy's comments, and I think that people may need to understand that to the extent that we're looking at Basel is to give some certainty on what we are or not going to do.
Correct.
And so people should not. I was completely offended and totally thrilled when Barr failed to get Basel III Endgame done, and he was rushing. So let me just say that was a happy day when it was clear he wasn't going to be successful. But we do need to look at it. We need to position it. We need to give certainty to the banks and the regulated entities. And I do believe, so Basel, that's just dealing with Basel, because he referred to CCAR and stress testing. I, for one, think CCAR and stress testing are broken. I believe that, unless you're a partner at Price Waterhouse, I mean, we were paid enormous sums of money to make sure that the banks were compliant with regulations that were at the risk of money that they could spend in the communities or capital that could flow. They're having to pay consultants to make sure they're compliant. There's got to be a better way to identify the specific risk without going through 100,000 pages. So CCAR and stress test is broken, And as you look into, as you move forward, are you going to see opportunities to actually reduce the cost and maintain the outcomes that we need to understand any systemic risk that we have in our banking system?
Senator, yes. And first, let me address the stress testing observations that you've made. I agree on many levels with the observations that you have. I think we are taking a closer look at the appropriateness of the way the stress tests have been implemented, and we'll be making some conclusions about that going forward. So I look forward to improving that process.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you. I look forward to supporting your confirmations. On behalf of the chair, Senator Cortez Masto.